Imagine being able to paint on the surface of a table, but with light instead of paint, using real art tools or even your fingers.
I like the way things move.
Yeah.
This might be enhanced by a computer to support novel effects and animation that could never exist alone in the physical world, that require the power of a computer. Imagine being able to play board games using real game pieces, cards, and dice, but enhanced by a computer which offers hints, keeps score, and allows grandma to join in from halfway around the world. Perhaps the computer might act as a referee or compete as an additional player. Imagine that instead of keeping a copy of your photo album on the coffee table, that the coffee table is your photo album, capable of displaying any of your digital photos with families and friends as you sit together in the relaxed setting of your living room. At Microsoft, we have been developing a computer-enhanced table that allows elements of the real physical world and the computer's virtual world to interact. Here you see an early prototype. The top of the table is a computer video display. We project video onto the surface of the table from below. A video camera below the surface of the table can see real objects that are placed upon it, and even the touch of a finger or many fingers. Although computer vision techniques can be used to uniquely identify different objects based upon appearance, similar objects can also have barcodes on their bases to differentiate them. Here we'll be showing you a set of sample applications that we have built that hint at the breadth and range of experiences that the table can enable. One of the most compelling applications of this technology is as a play or game table for children and their families. Here is a simple pinball game that demonstrates some of the table's capabilities. The table can sense the touch of a finger. Here you can launch pinballs by pressing this virtual button. You can also trigger the flippers via touch. The table can also sense objects that are placed upon it. Let's place several bumpers. Each is identified uniquely to the table by a barcode underneath. The real bumpers deflect the virtual pinball, so physical objects can control the virtual environment. However, the virtual can also affect the physical as well. Here's an active bumper. Every time the virtual pinball hits the bumper, it lights up and vibrates. We trigger the bumper to react by shining light on it from below. An important application for computer technology is teaching kids skills. Here we have a spelling application.
If you'd like to play a spelling game, put a letter down on the table.
A child can place spelling flashcards on the table, and each card is uniquely identified by the table.
That's the letter D. Use your cards to finish spelling dog. You suck, kid. Great job. Put a letter down.
And the children are rewarded with candy.
Great job.
The table can also teach math skills using real-world objects. Here we teach the child how to count with real coins. The child selects an item to buy from the store, and then places ordinary coins on the table. As the coins are placed, the child sees the sum paid so far. The table can differentiate between all of these coins and congratulates the child when she is correctly paid for the item.
Great job. You put 41 cents on the table and...
The table is ideal for a number of creative play experiences like this kids painting application. People can paint with their fingers or a set of brushes. Just like with real paint, you can orient the brush on the surface to paint a thin line or a fat line. One of the wonderful things about the table is that it can interpret multiple inputs simultaneously, and multiple people can interact with the table at the same time. You can mix paint in an intuitive manner, just like how you would in the real world. Let's mix some red and blue to make purple. Each table software title might ship with a set of physical objects that can be used on the table. For the paint application, this might be a set of brushes and paint rollers, and a dial that allows us to choose between multiple coloring book templates. Others might be stamps that you can paint with. Some stamps might even be animated like this fish, spiral, and star. The table can be used to enhance existing board games and to create entirely new game possibilities. Here we have built a table-enhanced version of Trivial Pursuit. The table sees and interprets the rolls of an actual dice and shows the squares that the piece can move to. With the table, trivia questions can be more engaging, including audio and video. This visor allows information on the screen to be selectively shown to only select players. Players can also answer non-multiple choice free-form questions. The visor can show another player the answer to the free-form question and allows them to indicate whether or not the other player's response was correct. The table also allows distant players to participate. Here Joel is playing remotely on his own table, and the table shows us what he rolls, where he moves his game piece to, and how he answers his question. Here we have the game of Go, enhanced by the table. You can place stones by touching the board. You can play other people or the table itself. Imagine losing to a piece of furniture. You can undo any sequence of moves and experiment with what-if scenarios. Imagine gathering around a coffee table in your living room and having the table come to life, allowing you to share your family photos in a dynamic slideshow. Each of these discs is a physical object that represents a collection of photos. You can place a photo disc on the table to see the pictures associated with it. Pictures could also be associated with other objects. For example, vacation photos might be associated with a souvenir from the trip. In addition to the slideshow view, you can browse the pictures in a virtual slide carousel. The photo disc also acts as a virtual jog dial. By rotating it, you control the direction and speed of the carousel. By placing a photo disc here, you see thumbnails of all of the photos in that collection. You can sort your pictures into different collections. You can slide these pictures to the disc holding the outdoor scenes, and these others to the disc holding the portraits. The table can interpret a variety of gestures. Here, this sliding or flinging gesture is used to sort the thumbnails into different collections. You can also edit the pictures on the table using gestures. You can pan it around on the tabletop by dragging a finger. It's incredibly intuitive to scale pictures on the table. To crop the photo, you place 2 fingers diagonally and choose the new corners for the picture. That looks great. Here's a whimsical and fun table screensaver. Imagine that the table is a pool of water. Touch it and see concentric waves. Move a single finger along the table and see the water wake. Use 2 hands and create incredibly realistic ripples. You can choose different images to show at the bottom of the pool by rotating this disc like a dial. Here are a few of my favorites: a golf ball at the bottom of a stream, a real view of the inside of the projection table, and a tidal pool. This tank battle game mixes the virtual and physical environment in a very compelling, engaging, and fun way. First, you can customize the battlefield by placing a rock, a lake, and brick wall. You control this tank with the gamepad, a traditional gaming interaction device that can also be used with the table. The table prevents the tank from driving off the surface or through objects. You can shoot through the trees, clearing away these obstacles. By driving the tank over special power-ups, you can give it enhanced shooting ability. Now let's place a second tank on the table and have a quick battle. The table controls the enemy tank. It's human against machine. The enemy tank intelligently navigates around the battlefield terrain. See how it skirts around rock, trees, and the wall? We navigate a little less intelligently. The table wins. There are a number of very compelling aspects of this play table. First, unlike a computer, it's easy for multiple people to gather around it and interact simultaneously. With a computer, a single person is in control of the keyboard and mouse, and it's very difficult for people to play together in the same space. Second, the table has a very natural interface. You can interact with the table with real-world objects like cards, dice, game pieces, brushes, coins. The possibilities are endless. This is much more intuitive and fun than interacting indirectly with a game via mouse and keyboard. Third, unlike ordinary board games, the play experience is enhanced by computer technology. The table is capable of dynamic graphics and audio that can react to real-world objects and even control the behavior of these objects. It is capable of complex game logic. It can enforce the rules and keep score. The table can play against you or with you. It can simulate complex environments like train systems, cities, castles, zoos, and battlefields in a play or game context. It networks in other table owners remotely, so they can play along even if they are not present. Fourth, the table is a new platform capable of large numbers of play and non-play experiences. With additional software sold along with related thematic objects that interact with the tabletop, whole new experiences are possible.